So what was your definitive moment as a martial artist?
Funny you should ask that. There was probably two. And the first one came, I signed up for, as I told you earlier, I signed up for 5 lessons at Kempo school.
Mm-hmm.
And the first lesson, I didn't intend to sign up. You know, they had a good sales gimmick.
Right.
You know, I mean, anybody who says commercial isn't bad, I think back, got me started, so what can be bad about it, you know? But the first lesson, the guy's talking and showing me this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, right, yeah, okay, yeah, talk some more, yeah. And the second lesson, he's sitting there, and I'm going, well, that's funny. I wonder what he means. Yeah, well, And he sort of like had half my attention. And the third lesson was really funny. He's sitting there and he's talking, and I'm listening to him, and all of a sudden the whole room just sort of went, and I'm sitting there in the middle of this totally golden glow, and I'm looking around just like this, and I'm going, and I looked at him and I thought, he doesn't know this is happening to me. And there was no way to explain it because it had never been mentioned in Western society. Moments of enlightenment.
Right.
You know, and I hadn't studied any Zen. Nobody even knew what that was back then except, you know, some beatnik thought it was, you know, fancy, and they'd talk about it at parties. But I'm sitting there in the middle of this golden glow. The whole room was golden, and I had this one thought, and the thought was, I'm going to do martial arts the rest of my life.
Nice.
And that was my thought. That was the third lesson. And what was a shocker to me was probably 6 months to a year later, I was reading probably Black Belt magazine, and this was back when, you know, issue number 30 or something, and all of a sudden they started talking about Morihei Ueshiba, and how after 25 years of hard work and all these schools and all these studies and all these travails and journeys and the things that he'd done to have this massive religious experience. And I was really drawn to that because I'd had one. And it you know, I mean, before that moment, I was just, you know, a college kid looking around going, hey, you know, man, where's the party this weekend? And after that, it was like, where's the nearest martial arts school?
Nice.
I need to go there. Now. You know, I mean, it really was. It was like night and day. Suddenly I had a purpose in my life. But I always thought about Morihei Ueshiba because I thought, God, I had my experience after 3 lessons. It's almost disrespectful to say that, you know? And but it's the truth. And, you know, I mean, to experience. Now, the second defining moment was after about 7 years at the Kang De Kwan. So I had 2 years of Kempo. I'd become an instructor, written a manual, yakety yakety yak. And after about 7 years of Kang De Kwan, it was 4.5 years because there were a total of 7. So I was in the martial arts 6.5 to 7 years, and I was sitting in the back of my house, and it was a U-shaped house with a big patio, and there was a cinder block there, and I had a piece of rebar about that long, and I was sitting there and I was tapping it. And tapping it, and there was music playing. And as a matter of fact, I think it was America, the horse with no name or something like that.
Nice.
Just because I lived through the drug days means nothing. I was sitting there, I was tapping it, and no, I wasn't on anything. And all of a sudden I'm going, where is the music coming from? And I couldn't figure out. And I knew where the speakers were physically in the universe, but I couldn't figure out where they were with my perceptions, because the music didn't come from any single place. And I'm thinking, what is the source of everything? And as I'm tapping the rebar, all of a sudden I hear this, you know, it hits, and it's going tick, tick, boom, and I'm right in the middle of this, and I'm going, wow, wow. And that was probably, you know, I mean, it was after almost 7 years of martial arts, and that was probably my moment of enlightenment. You know,
Wow.
that's where I probably achieved, you know, whatever I was supposed to achieve. Past that, you know, within a year or two, I started matrixing.
Nice.
You know, but that without that moment of, you know, what is all this? Where is the source of all music? Not just, why can't I? Why the music doesn't come to the speakers? It's everywhere. How can everything be everywhere? I mean, it was very zen, you know. It was very, but that was probably, you know, my moment. Pretty nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how we should do this with the plane right above us.
Is there a plane? Is it coming from everywhere?
Yes. Yes.
Where is the plane? I'm only worried if it comes down here, quite honestly. All right. Well,
It seems to be getting louder and closer.
let me. Is that better?
It's
going away now, isn't it?
Anyway.
See? Pretty powerful, aren't I?
Okay, here's the question. How long have you been teaching, and do you enjoy it?
I started teaching in November of '68, and the reason I remember that I studied martial arts at the Kempo school, and after 1 year they made me an instructor, and then I gave up teaching to be in the Kang De Kwan because it wasn't set up that way. You know, the Kempo was set up more commercially. Kang De Kwan, I gave a lot of stuff up and all the prestige of being a teacher, but I knew what I wanted. I
Right.
knew what was there. But so that's '68 to whenever, and that's actually all I really want to do.